and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Today it's 4 November 2025. I'm Ketiwe Chuma, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Let's take a look at today's headlines on Citizens Movement Radio News. Democracy under siege in Africa. President Chamisa speaks on Tanzania and elections in SADC. SADC members violated on principles by attending Suluhu inauguration, says Mahere. Living conditions of women have deteriorated under Mnangagwa, says Honorable Mlilo. Now let's take a look at our stories in detail. In a show of leadership, the Citizens President Advocate Nelson Chamisa released a statement yesterday condemning Tanzanian polls which were marred by violence and killings of opposition members. In a 15-pointer statement, President Chamisa expressed deep concern over the death of democracy on the continent. To help us dissect Advocate Chamisa's statement, we spoke to opposition spokesperson Promise Mkwananzi and had this to say.
It is worth noting that President Chamisa spoke clearly with devastating clarity on the issue of Tanzania, but made a broad summary of the issues bedeviling the region, which is SADC, as well as the continent of Africa. President Chamisa decried the increase in military coups and disputed elections, particularly in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Tanzania, which he described as a disturbing phenomenon in SADC and making it impossible for SADC to resolve their cases. For example, the chairmanship of Zimbabwe, who had just been through a disputed election, as well as that of Madagascar, which ended up in a coup before the completion of the term of office. He also talked about the excessive use of force against the political opponents by incumbents in those respective countries in Spain, including the barring and arrest of opposition leaders, leading to non-contest, so to speak. President Chamisa also spoke about the complicit and ineffectiveness of the regional and continental bodies such as SADC and the African Union, who seem to have no effective remedy to the increasing disputed elections across the continent. While acknowledging the SADC Electoral Observer Mission report as progressive, President Chamisa stated that their ineffectiveness in implementing their recommendations and resolutions means that there will be no lasting solution to disputed elections in those countries, citing obviously that Mnangagwa himself, he had been through a disputed election, and the president of Madagascar, who had been abdicated before completing his term as SADC chairperson. He ended by calling on the immediate and unconditional release of opposition leader Tundu Lissu and all political prisoners in Tanzania, and for Tanzanians to work together to find a peaceful and lasting solution to the problems bedeviling their country. President Chamisa also expressed solidarity with the peoples of Mozambique, the peoples of Tanzania, who have gone through a painful electoral processes, as well as to the peoples of the region and the peoples of Africa. As a statesman in Zimbabwe and a statesman in Africa, he commiserates with the generality of Africa and shares the vision of the young people of a greater and better Africa for all.
Legal expert and opposition official Fatai Mahere has accused SADC of violating their own principles by attending inauguration of Tanzania President Samia Suluhu. Mahere said SADC leaders attending Suluhu inauguration after SADC elections observer mission condemned the Tanzanian polls are disregarding their own guidelines on holding of free and fair elections. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, who snapped Emmerson Mnangagwa's inauguration in 2023, surprisingly is one of the few African presidents who attended Suluhu's inauguration ceremony. The former MP for Bulawayo Women Proportional Representation, Honorable Stabile Mlilo, has said the living conditions of women have deteriorated under Emmerson Mnangagwa's administration. She said women, especially in rural areas, are living under miserable conditions with no basics like clean water and food. Honorable Mlilo said, with most men flocking to foreign countries to look for greener pastures, most households are now headed by women who balance between menial jobs and taking care of minors. Let's hear Honorable Mlilo speaking.
Good evening, viewers everywhere. Looking at women right now, especially rural women, we can actually see that they are living in conditions that are not bearable, especially to any human being, especially to women. You know, women are the ones who are now taking care of families. Women are the ones who are looking for um jobs, minor jobs to actually do so that they can actually provide for the families. And women have actually taken on the role of men, because most men have gone to neighboring countries like Botswana, they've gone to South Africa looking for jobs, and all the families are now left in the care of women. And really, it's so stressing, especially looking at the current regime that does not even care about women here in Zimbabwe, to say that how can we help women in Zimbabwe. They really do not care about women, and most rural women, they've actually taken the burden of being men in their homesteads, and really it's something that is actually, stressed women. If we look at most of them, they now have got healthy issues. Some of them have got BP, some of them have got sugar levels that have actually gone up, and so many diseases that have actually uh, attacked women because of the current situation that they are actually facing. And this regime does not even care about women being care workers, and maybe even trying maybe to even sustain these women by maybe giving them small maybe salaries a month, or just small social welfare monies. But women, they are bearing everything on their own, and no one is actually looking at them. And women have actually taken the role of being men, and it's quite a pity, because all the men have actually gone out of the country, and they're busy looking for greener pastures. Thank you so much.
In a glaring display of discord within the ruling party, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, who attended Samia Suluhu inauguration yesterday, told the media upon arrival at Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport that the situation in Tanzania is dire. On the other hand, ZANU-PF detector Emmerson Mnangagwa issued a statement congratulating Suluhu for her victory. Contradicting his boss, Chiwenga said there is need for dialogue in Tanzania as the country is in a serious political crisis. Meanwhile, opposition official Senator Jamerson Timber has said SADC must act on its report that condemned the elections in Tanzania. He also called for the opposition in Tanzania to continue fighting against tyranny in that country. Let's hear him speaking.
Fellow citizens, the SADC Observer Mission's report on Tanzania confirms that in most areas, voters could not freely express their democratic will. It found that the election fell short of SADC's own principles on democracy and the rule of law. This is a necessary first step, but not enough. SADC must act on its own findings and withhold recognition of any government born of a flawed vote. The opposition must keep its pressure peaceful, lawful, and firm until justice and reform are achieved. The iron must be struck whilst it is still hot. Tomorrow, it may no longer bend.
Mbizo, Member of Parliament, Honorable Kopan Matsivanyika, has said the issue of hiding under sanctions by ZANU-PF government is a tired propaganda. He said corruption instead of sanctions is causing collapse of state parastatals. Speaking in Parliament this week, Honorable Matsivanyika said there is no justification why the country cannot manufacture its own fertilizers because the country has plenty of phosphate and lime in areas like Rushinga and Dorowam. Let's hear Honorable Matsivanyika speaking.
Supplementary, Honorable Matsivanyika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Finally, Madam Speaker, Zimbabwe has got vast resources for compound G fertilizer. We have got Doroa, which produces phosphate, which is a very important input in compound G fertilizer. We have got GNW in Rushinga, which produces lime, which is very important for the improving the nutrients of the soil. My follow-up question, therefore, is it government policy to import fertilizer when our own local companies have been run down? Because as it stands, both the Doroa and the GNW are closed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Member for his assessment, which is correct. Our factories that produce fertilizer were run down by economic sanctions, and we could not retool. And his predecessors, when they were here a couple of years ago, were advocating for the running down of the factories so that we could not produce fertilizer. So we are importing while we are retooling so that we can utilize our resources. I submit.
Thank you, Leader of Government Business. New question. Honorable LGY.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam
Honorable LGY. What's your point of order, Honorable?
My point of order, Madam Speaker, relates to the response by the Honorable Minister. It is on record, Madam Speaker, that our government-owned fertilizer making companies, they've been a lot of looting, with companies importing something which costs 500,000 and charging people 12 million. So for you to argue that it is the sanctions, I think is actually stretching the truth.
Former Wenela mine workers from Zimbabwe who developed silicosis or work-related TB while working in South African gold mines can now claim compensation after Chiamiso Trust and NASA signed an MOU in Harare. The trust, created to implement a 2018 class action settlement, covers mine workers employed between March 1965 and December 2019. Bain's Occupational Health Services will handle registrations and medical exams locally. Claimants or dependents must provide identification and work details. Payments range from 12,000 rands to 560,000 rands, adjusted annually, and the trust runs until December 2031. Let's hear how the process will work from the Trust Communications Officer, Lusanda Gia.
Will dependents of the deceased miners also be eligible to apply for benefits, and what is the process for them?
They will also lodge their claims with our service provider in Zimbabwe. The burden of proof in supporting a claim is higher for dependents, simply because the mine worker is no longer there to undergo an examination for us to establish the qualifying disease and the extent of lung damage. So for them, they have to bring us the documents that show their relationship with the mine worker. They have to bring the mine worker's identifying documents. They have to bring also death certificate and the death notice that shows the cause of death, because our experience has been that death certificates don't give you the cause of death. they tell you natural causes, unnatural causes, or to be determined or under investigation. They don't actually state the cause of death. So the trust deed now allows for us to look at death notices, or in Zimbabwe we call something else, maybe a certificate of cause of death that's issued by the medical professional hospital where the pensioner or the ex-mine worker died. So those are the documents that will assist. There is one category where medical records can be accepted in order to show that the mine worker died with silicosis, even if silicosis wasn't the cause of death. It's just one dependent, class B, that can do that. But those are the documents that will assist a dependent of a deceased mine worker to submit a claim.
Leonard Gwaze, a nephew of the late famous traditional healer Sekuru Ndunge, is playing a significant role in Zimbabwean culture, using a combination of spirituality, natural remedies, and ancestral knowledge to heal people from all walks of life. Let's get more from our Citizens Movement Radio reporter Langton Mwanaka.
Sekuru Ndunge is making waves with remarkable abilities to cure ailments and other guidance to those in need. He helps people from all corners of the country and those in diaspora, from chronic illnesses, marital problems to recovery of stolen goods and spiritual afflictions. For Sekuru Ndunge to help, all he requires is the person's name, surname, and totem. Then he uses a mirror to solve one's problems. Sekuru Ndunge, can you tell CMR listeners about yourself?
Alright, zita rangu inonzi Leonard Gwaze. Tinobatsira matambudziko akati wandei kusanganisira nechivanhu. Zvimwe zvacho ndichisanganisa nenyenyedzi nomwe wangu utsvuku. Tinodzora zvinenge zvabiwa, tinoita zvenyuchi. Tinobatsira vanhu vakawanda chero vari kunze chaiwo. Tinobatsira munhu ari ikoko kwaari ikoko. Tichimubatsira zvinhu zvake zvichiita. Vaya vanoda vane matambudziko musanyare ndibatei pamacontacts angu ndikubatsirei maproblems enyu anopera. Zvimwe handingati ndinogona zvese, zvimwe zvinorambawo hazvo, asi zvizhinji ndinobatsira zvichitobva zvatoita. Munobatsira maproblems akawanda. Pakangondipa zita neseremu nemutupo wako, totoenda pagrasi pangu ndakutotanga kutokubatsira. Tinokubatsira zvichitobva zvatoita. Vaya vane maproblems, itai kuti mubatsirike, ndikubatsirei. Hamungatambudzike, nyika ingatiomerwe kana kutambudzika nezvinhu zvandinogona kukubatsirai. Inini ndiri muzukuru waSekuru Ndunge, tinokubatsira izvi maproblems enyu achipera. Tinokubatsira maproblems enyu achipera. Vanoda ngavandibate pamanamba angu. Namba dzangu 0774 636 013 or 0714 608 or 0714 606 720. 0714 606 720. Zenet 1. Zebad 0774 636 013. Tibati pamacontacts angu yaya munobatsirwa. Ari paWhatsApp, chero nguva munondibata, makasununguka, chero usiku munofona munondibata. Especially vekunze ndinotobatsira vakawanda zvichitoita. Kana utonzi wabirwa motikari ndinokubatsira zvichidzoka. Tobatsira zvichidzoka.
Ini ndakabirwawo mari. Ndanga ndakachengeteswa mari yanga yakawanda, yanga iri mari yeround, yanga iri about 1.5. Mari iyoyo ndakanga ndatoishaya, saka ndakazoendawo kwasekuru. Sekuru vakaitawo kuti zvinhu zvangu zvidzoke, mari yangu yese yakadzoka yakakwana. Munhu iye akauya ari ega, akadzoka nemari iyoyo ari ega, achitofamba akazara nyuchi. Ndoda kungotendawo kuti sekuru vakaita kuti mari yangu idzoke. Kana ndichingokurudzirawo kune vamwe vanodawo kubatsirwa, munokwanisa kubata sekuru, vanokubatsirai zvinhu zvenyu zvese zvinofamba zvakanaka.
The founder of Prophetic Healing and Deliverance Ministries, Walter Magaya, who is facing 5 counts of rape and fraud charges, has today been remanded in custody to the 13th of November. Magaya is accused of raping 2 women between 2013 and 2018 who were his church members abusing church authority. On the fraud case, he is jointly charged with his wife for defrauding church members of a multi-million housing project. Magaya has been advised by the Magistrates Court to seek bail at the High Court. Z-Therapy confirmed arrest of another suspect linked to murder of Rua businessman Joseph Mutangadura. The suspect was named Webster Now, 51 of Dustin Road in Rua. His yesterday arrest brings the total number of people who have been arrested so far in connection to the murder to 7. In our sports news, in an English Premier League match played last night, Sunderland preserved their unbeaten home record this season after holding Everton to a 1-1 draw. Granit Xhaka scored deep in first half injury time to cancel out Iliman Ndiaye's early wonder solo goal. The UEFA Champions League is back, and here are the fixtures lined up for tonight. Napoli versus Eintracht, Frankfurt Prague versus Arsenal, Atletico versus Union Saint-Gilloise, Bodo Glimt versus Monaco, Juventus versus Sporting CP, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, Olympiacos versus PSV Eindhoven, PSG versus Bayern, Tottenham versus FC Copenhagen. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once again. Democracy under siege in Africa. President Chamisa speaks on Tanzania and elections in SADC. SADC members violated own principles by attending Suluhu inauguration, says Mahere. Living conditions of women have deteriorated under Mnangagwa, says Honorable Mdilo. This is the end of our bulletin. Good day.